So I would consider an angel investor to be an individual who obviously has available capital, but also, and perhaps just as importantly, industry experience that they're willing to share. Founders need capital, that goes without saying, but they also benefit from expertise specific to their sector. So an angel investor is someone who can supply both at a critical time in the company's development. So I think that's going to depend on where the company is at, because obviously without the capital, nothing happens. So the expertise could be brilliant, but if they haven't got rubber hitting road in terms of any kind of runway financially, that expertise would not be beneficial or useful to them in any way, shape, or form. So it's a tough one, because I think that expertise is huge, and I've seen the benefit of it with different companies, and so it's a hard one to answer for sure. Well, it's actually almost like coming in the back door, from the perspective that I had the opportunity to listen to a founder. He came out of Western University here in London, and he had started a social enterprise and was looking for capital in order to grow his business. And I was so intrigued by what he was doing, why he was doing it, and what the benefit would be that would come out of its success, that I agreed to invest on the spot. And it's continued from there. And I would say that it's a fascinating journey to be part of, and one that I can't imagine not having as part of my, if I want to call it, my repertoire. Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, I would say I believe we need to leave the world better than we found it. And the opportunity to support entrepreneurs who have a social or an environmental benefit built into their business DNA is something that I believe in doing very strongly, because we all benefit from that kind of work. I would also say that I am completely inspired by their grit. I mean, this is, to be an entrepreneur, to put everything on the line day in and day out, to believe with all your heart that what you're doing is the right thing and it's going to make a difference in some way, shape, or form, it's incredibly inspiring. So it's just really, like I said before, fascinating to be on the journey. So it's interesting, because I initially thought that I was very much an outlier in not looking at the financial return as being the most important benefit. I thought people wouldn't understand. They would think I was a little bit bonkers, that I was putting all this money on the line and I wasn't looking for a significant return. But in truth, it is about making things better. And it is about supporting an individual who's going to give it 150% every single day in order to make that dream of theirs come true. That's the win. And so if there happens to be a financial benefit at the end of the day, great, because it allows me to continue doing what I'm doing. So that's a double win. But no, I would say that it is definitely not the number one thing. The financial return isn't the top of the list for me. Oddly enough, there was no anxiety at all. I was so jazzed about what this company was doing that it was really easy for me to do it. And I would say that anytime I go into making an investment, there's not anxiety so much as there's, I'll call it caution. We're not to invest more than we can afford to lose. That's the simple math of all of it. And at the end of the day, we would like to think that there's going to be some return on a portion of what we've invested, so that offsets the ones that don't work out, because there are laws of averages at play there. But for me, it was not an anxious moment so much as it was an inspired moment. It was like, this is great, and this is going to make things better, and I'm really excited to be part of it. I would say that first of all, you have to follow the regulations around being accredited. So there's that. But if we set that aside, I would say that it's anybody who's interested in learning, because there are so many amazing technologies coming down the pike. People who have expertise in a specific field that they're interested in paying forward, alongside a financial investment, because that just being part of that can be really invigorating, really inspiring, really exciting. Have you heard the phrase drinking from a fire hose? Okay, so it depends on what stage you're at. Like if it's brand new and you're doing that first investment, it can certainly feel that way. And I would say at any given time, the learning curve can be steep. For example, I'm still trying to understand the intricacies of valuations, because every company is valued differently, and sometimes it just kind of goes over my head. But it's not so overwhelming. You wouldn't do it if there wasn't, something that you were getting out at the end of the day. But be aware that the other thing that I think is fascinating is, when I first went into angel investing, it was about making an investment in a company. What I didn't understand, and one of the big learnings was, and then it's about the follow-on round. And then it's about the follow-on round on the follow-on round. Because it's not just about your initial investment. There's going to, just based on where these companies are at, there's going to be more. Well, I would say it's never been more important than now. This pandemic has highlighted the importance of angels and their support of the ecosystem. I think we play a vital role in a critical time in a company's development. And we saw it at the beginning of the pandemic, when we were more focused on our portfolio companies and not spending as much time on startups. And then the fear about, well, if we're not paying attention to them, what's going to happen? How much do we lose in terms of technological gain in any given sector if we don't pay attention and if we don't invest? So I would say that we do play a very important role. I think for me, the biggest benefit has been the sense of community and the opportunity to idea share and to learn from people who are smarter than me, who've been in industries that I know nothing about, but might be intrigued enough to want to invest in. So yes, you can go off and you can do this on your own. You can do your own due diligence. You can learn and make decisions as to whether or not to do it as an individual. But I think there's something to be said for this collective and the work that it does. So that was why I decided to join. I mean, it was really about surrounding myself with people who were like-minded in terms of wanting to make a difference in this sector, but also the opportunity to learn from them as we went along.